Good afternoon, everyone. In my presentation, I will talk about water quality protection in Hungary. I will talk mostly about the implementation of the Water Framework Directorate, and I will close my presentation with a little case study from my field. So, as Hungary being a member of the European Union, Water Framework Directive is, of course, compulsory for implementation, and it's a framework for water quality protection in our country. Just one slide about the general objectives of Water Framework Directorate. The practical objective of it is to define and implement a program for a transition to sustainable development path, focusing on the quality and quantity of waters. The strategic steps to achieve a sustainable state of waters, the good status of waters, has to be included in river basin management plans by each country, which should be reviewed every 6 years. And that contains technical and regulatory measures to implement the WFD in each country, financial resources, and the priority programs in sectors. In Hungary, the first national river basin management plan was made in 2006. Started to be implemented from 2006. The first plan was issued in the end of 2009. The second one was made by 2015, the third one in 2021, and the fourth revision, the fourth National River Basin Management Plan is being elaborated now. So, to summarize the process, in the first times, the planning and implementation was mostly lagging behind. A lot of data was missing, but by the third NRBMP, the homework was done actually. So a huge data set was compiled, and a huge list of actions were compiled. So that it means that the plan is really complex, and it contains a lot of actions for many sectors affecting the quality of waters. So the general objective of the Water Framework Directive and the implementation is to put the surface and the groundwater bodies into a good condition by 2015, but no later than 2027. In Hungary, the national legislation on waters was harmonized with the Water Framework Directive. Here I only highlighted several of the. I only highlighted the most important laws and decrees that are harmonized with the Water Framework Directive and which affect the water quality protection. So the law on environmental protection and the law on water management are the basic laws which define this field. And of course we have the detailed regulation on river basin management, how to make these plans and how to implement them. We have decrees on the protection of surface waters, groundwaters, monitoring the surface and groundwater bodies, and we have detailed decrease on the pollution limits both on the surface and in the groundwater. The National River Basin Management Plan was elaborated using the framework of the drivers, pressures, status, impact, response logical framework. Using this framework, the driving forces are originated from the sectors which use and impact the water bodies, both on surface and under the ground, like aquaculture, agriculture, forestry, industry, transport, energy production, and so on. And in the bottom of the list, you can see that climate change has become a very huge driver outside of the sectors. It's a global driver, but impacting very much on Hungarian waters. So from the driving forces, or connected to the drivers' forces, the pressure types were also examined, like organic and nutrient pollution, chemical pollution, acidification, salt and heat pollution, groundwater level decline, and the water-dependent habitat damages. And the status characteristics were also elaborated for the surface waters according to the WFD. The chemical and the ecological status were described, and it was described, of course, with figures and with an extensive map database. And also for the groundwaters, the chemical and the quantitative status were described in the third NRBMP. The emission inventory is a huge result of the third plan. Now it can be said that it's mostly complete. The former lack of data was improved. So now we have extensive data on the Hungarian waters. The relevant hazardous substances were identified for 46 components. And it has to be mentioned that Hungary is in a special condition, laying mostly in the bottom of a basin. So waters flow from here. 95% of our rivers come from abroad, and as such, our surface waters are facing the problem of storage of pollutants coming here from other places, and the storage of pollutants in the sediments, and that's an obstacle or a problem for putting the waters into a good condition. The presentation before mine one was dealing with the hazardous substances. This emission inventory found that most of our water bodies status is not good when examining the persistent bioaccumulative and toxic the PBT pollutants. So that's a sad news. For groundwater, the data set was better for the third plan, but still a more accurate emission inventory is needed. How are we proceeding with implementing the WFD? So the final date for implementing the WFD and putting our waters into a good condition is 2027. So we are in the last round, so to say. So it's important to compare how we proceeded between the second plan and the third plan. So you can see that in the upper figures, the ecological status of water courses are presented. The red are the ones which are in bad condition. The yellow is moderate, and the green is good. So it's visible that we are still far from the goal, from putting our waters into a good condition. But most of the surface waters are now in the moderate zone. So for the still waters or like lakes, most of them are in a moderate condition, but only few of them are in good condition. Just to dig a bit deeper into the data and the changes in the status of surface water bodies between the two periods, the second and the third planning period, you can see that the biological factors have worsened a bit, and it's important that the lack of data has disappeared or nearly disappeared for the third plan. So sometimes the worsening status is thanks to the thing that in the first period and in the second period, much of the data were on expert judgments, and sometimes the experts thought that it's in better condition than the data proved that they are. So now to the groundwater bodies. Overall, compared to the second period of planning, 26 water bodies have deteriorated. Nearly the same number have improved, and 134 water bodies didn't change according to the aggregated data. Actually, water quality protection is a huge topic, so in this presentation I can only highlight some of the very important topics. For me, one of these is the nutrients and nitrate pollution of waters, surface and groundwaters. Actually, the nitrate and the phosphorus sensitive areas are also defined according to the EU regulation, and it can be said that no catchment in Hungary is not sensitive to nitrogen or phosphorus contamination. So in this map with the yellow or orange color, you can see the areas highly sensitive to nitrate pollution, areas for nitrogen pollution protection. So it covers most of the country. We have to say that both urban and agricultural runoff have point and diffuse nutrient loads to surface and groundwater bodies, and as I mentioned before, Hungary is prone to storing pollutions in waters as being in the deeper part of the Carpathian Basin, and the nutrient pollution sensitivity will be increased by climate change as we are facing less water quantities, it influences how the environment can react on nutrient loads and nutrient pollution. How does the third plan react or responses to the threats? Actually, the basics of effective water quality protection is to focus on the drivers and to prevent the pollutions instead of trying to remove pollution. So the measures focus on all the sectors which were identified as drivers for negative changes. So just to group the effective tools. The third plan includes measures to reduce and eliminate the pollutant use and emissions, interventions in transport processes, improving self-cleaning capacity, or I would summarize, these are kind of nature-based solutions with which we can use the self-cleaning capacity of water bodies. And of course, technical and research and development tools are also included in the plans, mostly for using more effective technologies, for removing pollution and increasing new inventories. So the third river basin management plan includes 31 action packages and a lot more measures which affect most of the or all of the sectors I highlighted as being the drivers for pollutions. So it includes like technical developments like wastewater, like the modernization of wastewater treatment, a huge lot of actions for agriculture to reduce pesticide pollution, or to educate farmers. There are a lot of tasks for cost recovery according to the WFD. We have a lot of tasks for protecting drinking water sources and eliminating the emission of priority hazardous substances. So sorry for the lot of text. I only wanted to compile it so that you see that this third plan includes actually all the action packages which can tackle the most important problems for water quality protection. And I didn't pick out those which are directly targeted to water quality protection, because the water quality and water quantity protection are interlinked so much that they cannot be separated. To summarize how we are proceeding with implementation, I'm not that optimistic, because, as I said, the third plan was a pioneering one that it filled up the lacks of data sets. So it's an extensive data set with a lot of very good action packages, but remaining in the same paradigm. Sometimes it steps over the paradigm, for example, like proposing water retention in agriculture, but the most important lesson is that it still remained the internal issue for the water water management sector. Actually, this plan was made by the National Directorate for Water Management, and most of the sectors think that it's some homework for the water sector. However, you can see from the action packages that it's not only a homework for the water sector, but for all of the sectors impacting the quality of waters. So the implementation is lagging behind. In this plan, the whole budget or whole cost was estimated to be 1,900, so nearly 2,000 billion Hungarian forints. Just to compare, in this very period, financial period of the European Union, Hungary will get about around 300 billion Hungarian forints for water issues. So there's a magnitude difference between the two numbers. And we haven't got no money since Hungary is in dispute with the European Union. And the biggest problem is that the sectors don't want to include the framework and the view of the Water Framework Directive. So to conclude, I would like to cite here a small case study from my field, what I work on, how I see the water quantity and the water quality management is tightly interlinked. Actually, the river regulation started in the middle of the 19th century in Hungary, and most of our wetlands were lost in a consequence of the river regulation. The former floodplains were detached from the rivers, and a lot of new arable lands were gained that way. And our water management system is now optimized for draining. But however, nearly 2 centuries later, we face with the consequences of human intervention and the climate change. So most of the country, the biggest part of the country, the Tisza River basin and other river basins face more and more the extremes of the climate and drying. So the surface water quantities in rivers and the groundwater quantities are also decreasing, and the country is practically drying. So all protected areas struggle or face with drying. So in the third river basin management plan, it is highlighted that all protected areas suffer from droughts and drying. So what would be the solution? The solution would be to make a territorial compromise to let some more area for water, to retain water in the fields, to let some of the floods out in the floodplain, and to change the land use and introduce a more mosaic-like land use. Of course, in the 19th century, people who did this way of farming, or even before in the Middle Ages, didn't face water quality issues, but today we do. So the inland water which we want to retain in the fields is contaminated with pesticides, fertilizers, and a lot of harmful substances. So like the floods or floods bring microplastic as well, just to highlight one of the harmful substances. So that means so that we can solve the water quantity issues to refill our water tanks under the ground and on the surface. We need good quality waters. So that's why I think they are tightly interlinked. And this is my last slide. This is something beyond the paradigm. This is WWF Hungary's proposal for a new land use and a sustainable water management, and we are working on this to be implemented.
Thank you very much.